Yo, what's up boys and girls, it's your boy Darth Swolelax here, back at it again with another video, something a little different. Today we're actually going to be going over the new Neo-Spacian support that was announced just a little while back. It's been a little while and it's probably been overdue, and you guys deserve to have me review these cards. You guys have been asking for it, so we finally are going to get right into it. Now I would like to explain that this is a little bit of different format than I usually do for my discussion videos and my reviews for cards. However, one of the lights that I have that I usually use to record is broken. Just so broken. So we're going to be here doing this instead. But without further ado, let's just jump into it. The first card we're actually going to be looking at today is the little boy himself, Neospace Connector. Neospace Connector is a level 4 light warrior effect monster with 800 attack and 1800 defense. You can only use each effect of this card's name once per turn. When this card is normal summon, you can special summon one Neo-Spacian monster or one Elemental HERO Neos from your hand or deck in defense position. So already this card is super broken, and we haven't even gotten to the second effect yet, which is almost arguably even better. So don't get me wrong, its first effect is nuts on its own. Having that effect out, you guys have probably seen the combos already. You guys have seen the crazy things you can do with Izzleback to Whittle, two tails of the Noble Knights. But because this card can go into greater things other than Neo-Spacians, makes this card just so much more valuable. In addition to that, it also makes an excuse to play Neos. But more importantly, for the main reason that you're going to be using this card inside the Neo-Spacian deck, it can turbo out most of your fusion monsters. Its second effect being that you contribute this card, target one Neo-Spacian monster or Elemental HERO Neos in your graveyard, and special that target in defense position. This means potentially with a little bit of graveyard setup, you can go into your bigger dudes much faster. And like we've been asking for so long, this card can turbo out Neos. You guys know this in other videos that I've been talking about. We need just one reliable way to either search out or a Neos retrain. And with this card, honestly, I'm not even pissed that we don't have the Neos retrain yet. Even if we don't get that retrain, even if Konami didn't release more Neo-Spacian support inside of Savage Strike, I can confidently say this card is nuts and it will definitely be super sought after, not only for decks like Neo-Spacian, but for any type of warrior turbo deck that they're going for right now. Next, cards. And like I said, if that wasn't enough, we also got more cards inside of the Savage Strike set. These cards come in the form of a spell card, a trap card, and two fusion monsters. We'll get to the fusion monsters in a little bit later, but let's go ahead and jump right into those spell and trap cards. Now the spell card is Neos Fusion. The spell card reads, special summon from the extra deck one fusion monster that lists exactly two materials, including Elemental HERO Neos, by sending its fusion materials from your hand, deck, or field to the graveyard, ignoring its summoning conditions. Also, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of this turn. Not only does this turbo out your smaller Neo-Spacian guys, which previously in the past wouldn't be super worth it, honestly, whenever you're talking about the Neo-Spacian cards, did you ever really use the smaller guys, especially nowadays with the 3-1s being so good? I didn't think so. There were niche times where you went into the fusion between Grand Mole and Neos, or the times where you go into your Air Neos for its OTKs. And this card, just facilitating that OTK even more, makes that card much more valuable. And if I had to guess, we're going to be getting an Air Neos reprint sometime soon. Now, its condition being that you can't special summon for the rest of this turn is pretty costly. However, when you look at the Neo-Spacian deck, you essentially are going to be using this card as a finisher most of the time. Now, its secondary effect reads, if a monster you control that lists Elemental HERO Neos as a fusion material will be destroyed by battle or card effect, or returned to the extra deck by its own effect, you can banish this card from your graveyard instead. Great about this card is that once you use it to get that Neo-Spacian fusion out onto the board, you can essentially give it a free protection with this card. Sure, it can be returned back to the hand with something like Nightmare Unicorn, and it can also be returned back to the deck, but the fact that this card can be activated the turn that it's sent to the graveyard, meaning that you can use the card, special summon your fusion out, and then at the end of the turn, whenever you're done using it, it can banish itself to keep it on the field. That's pretty crazy. Great job, Konami. Not only does this card get the Swolelax seal of approval, it also joins the sick card club. Now the next one is the trap card, Neo-Spacian Extension, or Next. Now this card has a hard once per turn effect that reads, if you control no cards, you can activate this card from your hand. Special summon any number of Neo-Spacian monsters and Elemental HERO Neos with different names from your hand or graveyard in defense position, but their effects are negated. Also, while any of them are face up on your field, you cannot special summon from the extra deck except fusion monsters. Now this card is going to be used as a big comeback tool inside the Neo-Spacian deck. Now unfortunately, this card does have some synergy issues with the fact that it's cards like Miracle Contact and the fact that its general summoning mechanics shuffling back into the main deck does kind of conflict with the card being summoning from the graveyard and hand, I guess. But overall, this is actually a pretty neat hand trap for the deck, especially whenever you consider that the new mechanics for the deck seem to be it sending to the graveyard and then playing off the graveyard a little bit. I think we touched on this in a few videos previously where we talked about how the Neo-Spacians play off the graveyard, but not the way they think they wanted to. I feel like cards like this and Neos Fusion are really showing us that Konami really wants to take this deck and almost erase those shuffling back in mechanics. It's pretty funny when you think about it, however, I think it's a good step for the deck. And speaking of next, we're going to talk about the next cards inside of the set that were going to be released, and that is going to be the Neo-Spacian Neo-Spacian fusion cards. Now these bad boys are actually really sick. I love their effects and I love what they're going to do, especially the first one. Now this bad boy is called Elemental HERO Brave Neos. Elemental HERO Brave Neos is a level 7 light warrior fusion effect monster with 2500 attack and 2000 defense. This card requires Elemental HERO Neos and one level 4 or lower effect monster, so it's pretty generic, which is really nice to use. It gains 100 attack for each Neo-Spacian and hero monster in the graveyard, and when this card destroys a monster by battle, you can add one spell or trap that specifically lists the card name Elemental HERO Neos from your deck. So like I just mentioned, I think this card's going to be the Searcher, which is unfortunate because it's a little bit of a slow searcher. I'm gonna be honest with you guys, this card is super sick. 1, I love its card artwork. 2, its summoning conditions is amazing. 3, you don't need to shuffle it back into the main deck at the end of the turn. Amazing. I'm a fan, on top of the fact that it's going to be probably one of the best looking cards inside of the set, hands down. Speaking of good looking cards, the next card is going to be Elemental HERO Cosmo Neos. So Cosmo Neos is supposed to be the counterpart, I would assume, to Nebula Neos, being a more of a light motif, or the other one is more of a dark motif. And you guys know how I feel about the darkness. Elemental HERO Cosmo Neos is a level 11 light warrior fusion effect monster with 3500 attack and 3000 defense, so it's a big body. This card requires Elemental HERO Neos and 3 Neo-Spacian monsters with different attributes, so it's pretty steep on its summoning condition. And this card reads, if this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can activate this effect. Your opponent cannot activate effects on the field for the rest of the turn. Your opponent cannot activate cards or effects in response to this effect's activation. Once per turn during the end phase, shuffle this card into the deck, and if you do, destroy all cards your opponent controls. Konami, you did it. Not only did they have ridiculous, ludicrous summoning conditions for this card, a big body of 3,500 attack points and a big booty of 3,000 defense points, but its first effect is absolutely bonkers. If they can't stop from summoning it, it's essentially going to be a one-sided skill drain. And the fact that once it gets shuffled back into the deck at the end phase, you can destroy all their cards, which they can't even respond to, mind you, because the effects are negated. Now, I don't know which one's better, Nebula Neos or this one. The banishing is super sick on Nebula Neos, but the Cosmo Neos destruction effect, ooh, baby. Now, granted, its summoning conditions is relatively steep, so who knows if you're able to be doing this reliably and turboing this out. But I guarantee you dedicated Neos players, including myself, are going to be trying to figure out how to turbo out this card as fast as possible. I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna be playing a lot of Neos whenever these cards drop, so we might revisit the 100 games with Neos. That'll be super sick. But for now, I'm super hyped about these cards, and honestly, they're what the Neo-Spacian archetype needed from the very get-go. Nebula Neos and Contact Gate aren't terrible by any means, but they're just not enough to push these cards to rogue status. However, these cards, I could see these cards doing something. Now, what does this mean for heroes and the other GX archetypes in the near future? Well, I have my theories on what Konami might be trying to do with those decks, but I want to know from you guys if you guys want to hear me talk about that, if you guys want to hear me ramble on about my conspiracy theories on what they're trying to do to heroes and what they're maybe going to try to do in the future. Well, let me know if you guys want that video in the comment section down below. If you guys like this video, make sure to leave a like. If you want some more, please subscribe. I got more videos coming to the pipeline, so stay tuned for that if you want to. But yeah, tell me what you guys think of the new Neo-Spacian card. Tell me what you guys think of the new Neo-Spacian decks. I'd love to hear from you guys. Obviously, I love reading all you guys' stories about, you guys summoning out your Nebula Neoses and everything, that whenever that card was released, it was super fun. But yeah, I'm so excited for this support. You guys have no idea, but I would love to hear from you guys. What do you guys think? Let me know inside the comment section down below, and I will see you guys later. Peace.